If you've decided the agency route is for you and you're struggling to see any success or understanding where to start, then this video is for you. We're going to be covering the agency model. So what is an agency and why is it such a beneficial model that you guys can focus on in 2024 and onwards? The plan. What plan are you going to take? Startup costs. What is this going to cost you guys when you're first jumping into this space? You want to have a brief understanding of how to keep costs low. The preparation, what can we do to ensure that we're prepared when we go to market so we do have a successful agency? I'm going to help you pick a service. I'm going to help you dominate niche selection. I'm going to help you understand why it's so important that target avatars are created. So many people are so afraid of looking into their ideal customer profile, and we're going to break that down and show you how. Lead hunting, I'm going to show you how you can get unlimited leads. Outreach systems. I'm going to teach you the outreach systems that you need to be able to succeed. The inbound systems. Getting a brief understanding of what inbound systems you can use for your agency to start scaling. The sales process. How to dominate the sales process. Financials and commercials. Looking at invoice creation. Looking at contracts. Looking at onboarding. Fulfillment. How can we deliver for our clients? Customer success and upselling. This is an absolute gem when it comes to agency because you'll find that a lot of your revenue actually comes from upselling to existing clients and then scaling. So this video is going to be quite long, but I want you guys to watch everything because I'm going to drop so much sauce when it comes to actually taking an agency idea all the way through to implementation. Let me build this for you in this video and you'll be able to take the steps that you need to start having a successful agency. Now, if you don't know much about me, my name's Dan. I've been in business for 11 years now. I've scaled multiple successful agencies, so I feel like I'm credible enough to make this video. I've also scaled over 100 agency owners to well over 2 to 10K a month. And that has allowed me to be able to, put this knowledge together and help some of you guys for free on YouTube today. So let's get into it. The agency model. First of all, what is the model? Okay. If you're new to the agency space, you need to understand what it is you're going to be doing. So you have you as the agency owner. I'm going to draw a stick man. I'm not the best at drawing, guys. So I might be good at agencies, but I'm shit at drawing. So you have you as the agency owner. Now, what you're essentially doing is outreaching specifically to an ideal customer profile. Now, this is essentially a target avatar, and we will get onto that so you guys understand what I mean. But this is a client or a prospect, okay? There'll be a prospect before they're a client, obviously. And that is your prospect. So you're going to be doing some outreach or an inbound system to be able to create conversations. Once you've created conversations, you're going to have a sales process. So this is going to be discovery, demo, onboard. Now, I'm keeping this brief because we're going to go into so much detail in this video, but just so you can understand. Then, once you've won the client, you have fulfillment. Now, the good thing about agency model, guys, the really good thing is you can eventually scale this very nicely. So, first of all, you can automate any outreach systems that you need, okay? Or you can invest in people. Now, this is going to allow you to be able to get people targeting these ideal customer profiles for you. So they will essentially be doing the sales process for you, as well as actually conducting the sales process. So you will then eventually get a setting team, a closing team. Now this essentially is an SDR team, right? Sales development representatives. They do the full life cycle, okay? And when you get really kind of in depth with it, you can get a media buyer, copywriter, etc. Basically to outsource the fulfillment. So the good thing about the agency model, guys, is once you get the fundamentals and you get the basics, you're going to be able to invest your working capital, which is your money, okay, into automating these processes, into systems, into people, and then we're going to be able to really automate and obviously invest in people to be able to get them to do the sales process and then also the fulfillment side of things as well. So essentially your time initially is going to suck because you have to do this all yourself. But as you go on and as you get more money and as you get more experience, your time is going to be more used effectively, okay? And that is why the agency model is so important, because it is scalable. Now, scalable is the most important thing. Let's say you had a product-based business. Now, the problem with a product-based business, the only way to scale it is to do ads, right? Or do some organic. Whereas with a service-based business like the agency model, we can control our activity every single day, which is going to control our revenue. So activity equals revenue. And the reason why it's important for you guys to know this now is because you're going to invest your time and effort into building out these systems, into building out these people, into being able to do this kind of process effectively so that you can generate the revenue and control the activity and increase it. So the minute you increase the revenue, the minute you increase the activity, you're going to increase the revenue, which is probably the most basic understanding of what the agency model is. So I'm going to move on to the plan. So guys, let's look at the plan. So the plan looks like this. First of all, we want to create a Notion document, okay? Notion is free. Now, in that Notion, here's what you want to do. First of all, you want to have sections for service, niche, outreach, inbound, financials, commercials. And if you're like me and you suck at remembering passwords, then passwords as well, okay? Now, this is so basic. I'm literally trying to keep it basic for you guys so you can understand. So in the service, you want to put your service that you're going with. So this could be SMMA, lead gen, could be Google Ads, could even be recruitment. Now, within service, we want to put a little bit about what we're doing for that service. So this is where we're going to build out the offer, okay? Now, I'm going to help you with the offer very shortly when we actually look at picking a service. In niche, we're going to be putting our niche. Now, in here, we want to be able to identify our ICP. So make sure you stick around for this video because, again, target avatars, I'm going to be showing you how you can add into your ICP document. This is just so you can lay this out right now, okay? So this is your ICP / target avatar. Who is it we're going to be contacting within the business? Outreach, we're going to identify the channels that are relevant on our service and our niche. If we don't understand the channels that are relevant, then we're going to be misfiring in the wrong direction. So we're going to be writing down the channels that we're going to be using, and we're going to create some sequences, okay? Because we need to be able to have a multi-channel sequence to the ideal customer profile to be able to get the sales. Inbound. Now, with inbound, I'm going to put a caveat here, guys. Most of you guys should not be running inbound to begin with. When you get some working capital, so you've secured a few clients, then an inbound system is very, very good. So we'll look at the inbound system anyway, just so you can create it. So things like a landing page, a VSL, and this is you planning essentially, right? Because in your plan, this isn't something that you do just to begin with. You want to be consistently adding to it, but I just want to help you guys bring some of these ideas to life, okay? Your appointment setting model, your funnel SOP, okay? Your copy, your creatives, okay? Etc. Now, I will be talking about inbound in a lot more detail, but again, this is just to plan. Financials. Now, financials, here's what I want you to do. I want you to create an invoice, template, and you can use Canva. And stick it on the Notion. So that every time we win a client, we don't have to create an invoice template every time because it's long. And we do the same for the contract. So we create a contract. Now you want to create 2 contracts. One for performance base. One for retainer. And that is going to allow you to be able to have both the contracts that you need to be able to effectively deliver for your businesses. Passwords. This is because I suck at remembering passwords, so I put all my passwords here. Okay. In fact, I'm going to add one more section on here, guys. Onboarding. You want your onboarding plan on here. Okay. And we'll go into that again, so don't stress. The whole point of this, guys, is to be able to bring your business to life. So in your Notion document, you want your service, okay? You want a little bit about your offer. We want the niche. We want to break down our target avatar. We want to be able to identify the outreach channels that we're going to be using and then creating some sequences. So what do I mean by sequences? For example, if you're doing email marketing, create the email sequences that you're going to be using, and we will be talking about that in a bit. But create the email marketing sequences so you know that it's there, and then you can A/B test them based on results. It's about getting a baseline in. Same with cold calling. Create a cold call script that you're going to follow. Have it on the Notion document so you can consistently access this. Then your inbound. So again, this is probably later on down the line for you guys because it does require cash. However, start to plan what's going to be on your landing page. Plan your VSL, script it, your appointment setting models, your funnel SOPs, your copy, your creatives that you're going to run for your own agency. Financials, create an invoice template. This is so that we can use this all the time. Commercials, create a contract, performance-based and retainer. Passwords, if you suck at remembering passwords like me, put it on here. Onboarding plan. The whole point of doing this, guys, is to give you direction and streamline processes, okay? We want to be able to make our lives as easy as possible when it comes to running an agency, because otherwise you're going to have to remember all of this stuff that you're doing. And if you're brand new to this space, you aren't going to remember everything. So that should just give you a bit of an understanding of what plan you need to take once you've understood the agency model. We're going to move on to startup costs. Now, what kills me is that most agency owners, when they first start out, spend so much money on things that they don't need. So let's look at the startup costs. First of all, you are going to need a GDPR compliant CRM. So here's one that you can use. Go high level, okay? GHL, probably the most common one. Now the reason why you want to use Go High Level is because you will be able to automate processes. You're going to be able to pipeline tracking, voicemail drops. You're going to be able to do the things that you need to be able to do, okay? So you're going to be able to really kind of get everything in place. Now there are so many other things and benefits to GDPR compliant CRMs, but let's keep it simple for you guys just starting out. So that's number one. Now, you can get a free trial for 30 days. In fact, it says 14 days initially, and then you can extend the trial to 30 to even 60 days sometimes. Once you've done that, you can get the lowest package for $97 per month, okay? Now that is not a lot, but do the free trial first. Stop spending money, people, okay? Stop spending money where you don't need to. Email marketing, smart leads, $39 a month for smart leads. Do not use instantly, it sucks. So $39 per month. Then you need to buy a domain. Use something called Pork Bun. Very cheap for the first year, okay? You're looking at about $10 for a domain. So $10 for a domain. £6 per email. You need 3 emails per domain. Okay, so if we're looking at the costs right now and we're keeping them low, we've got a GDPR compliant CRM, which is a free trial for 60 days, 30 to 60 days, so we can even ignore that $97. We've got $39 per month for Smart Leads, again, free trial for 14 days, but that's not long enough because that's going to be your warm-up period, and I'll explain what that is in a second. Your domains, $10 per year, so that's cheap as shit. And then £6 per email, you need 3 emails per domain, okay? So you just need to be able to spend £18 a month on emails, okay? So that means your email marketing is roughly about £55 per month. That means you're going to be able to personalize and automate thousands of emails every single month. You'd be stupid not to. You've got your CRM and you've got your email automation software. So there's that in terms of basic startup costs. Obviously, there are so many other things that you need so that you can have nice to haves. But if you've already got a phone and you've got a phone contract, realistically, you need to be able to cold call. You need to be able to run your email marketing. You can use LinkedIn's free trial on Sales Navigator. So Sales Nav free trial, okay? And you have everything you need to be able to start an agency without spending thousands and thousands of pounds per month. Obviously, as you scale up, there are going to be so many more costs and it's not going to look like that. But when you're first starting out and you're starting from your bedroom and you just want to start getting your first client, this is all you need. You do not need anything else. You do not need to spend $500, $600 per month on something. Go for the bare minimum and just get the outreach done. Ignore the inbound system for now. You're not going to be able to put yourself in a net zero to begin with, okay? So again, nice and cheap. So let's move on to preparation. So guys, now we're at the preparation stage. Let's look at the steps that we need to take. First of all, competitor analysis. Now the reason why we are doing this before we essentially pick a niche and service is we need to understand what our competitors are doing. What's the best way of doing competitor analysis? Now, let me tell you, it's called leeching. So, we're going to jump on 5 discoveries with our competitors and this is going to allow us to be able to get market information. So I'll put it here for you guys. So market information. So this could be anything from trends, insights, offer, etc. Okay? So market information is great. Then what we're going to do is we're also going to be able to see the way they sell. So what is it specifically about their model that hooked you in pretending to be their ideal customer profile? So for example, how did they draw out your pain points? How did they present the solution? We could even go as far as looking at the UI of the presentation, so the user interface. Okay? We can look at their pricing model. We can look at their sales assets. And everything else in between, okay? So, the first thing when we're doing preparation is understand our competitors. Why reinvent the wheel when we can take the wheel that's already working and build on it? So, this is a little bit underhand, but it doesn't matter. A lot of agency owners do it. It's not illegal. Feel free to jump on one of these demo calls or discovery calls with your competitors and take that information. It's there for you to take, okay? But also, we can do website research if you want, if you're a bit of an introverted person. So website research, LinkedIn, and anything in between, okay? Cool. So once you've done some competitor analysis, what we want to then be able to do is set some goals, okay? So goal setting. This is your KPIs and metrics. Now, if you're unsure on what KPIs and metrics you can use, there is a video on my channel and it breaks down the day plan for an agency owner. So go and watch that. But realistically, as you're here and you're watching this now, it's things like how many cold calls per day, how many discoveries, outreach. So this could be LinkedIn, Loom, demos, etc. Right? So you want to set some goals. If you don't have the goals, then you are going to lack the direction for your business. This is all about preparation. So first of all, when you're preparing, you want to do competitor analysis and then you want to set some goals. Now, you can even go as far as doing a SWOT analysis. Okay? Now, a SWOT analysis, guys, is strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. And you do it in a table form, right? Kind of like this. It is a bit small on the screen, but I don't know if you can see it. A SWOT analysis, and you can break down the strengths, the weaknesses, the opportunities, and threats. That's going the extra mile. Feel free to do it. Now, I don't want you guys spending longer than 2 hours on this, apart from obviously the time it takes to jump on calls, okay? 2 hours maximum. And then what we're going to be able to do is move on to picking a specific niche. Picking a specific service. Now, when it comes to picking a service, this is going to be based on your experience. So if you've got any real life experience in terms of working for an agency already, or you understand a specific element, so for example, Google Ads, then this is what's going to be your main factor. If you have zero experience, that is okay, don't worry. You should look at Facebook ads, lead generation, okay? More specifically for local businesses. Now, the reason why I suggested this is because you're able to understand that it's a low barrier to entry. This means that you guys with little to no experience can spend 5 hours maybe learning how to run an ad, okay? This is so important. If you are new to the game, do not try and go into something like SEO, for example, okay? SEO stands for search engine optimization. Now, this is a great business model. However, and it's less saturated than Facebook ads. However, it is a higher barrier to entry, okay? We've also got Google Ads. We've also got email marketing. That's B2B and B2C. So if we look at these, okay, there's 4 here. I don't want to overcomplicate it. Obviously, there are so many other agency models you can pick. Just going in with the most common. For example, my first agency, was a recruitment agency, right? But that's a lot higher barrier to entry. So again, if you're just starting out, you want to pick this one here. If you have some experience in search engine optimization, then pick this one, okay? If you understand Google Ads or you're quite knowledgeable on Facebook ads and you want to just change a little bit, Google Ads has a course by Google. But this is going to take you some time to learn. Then pick this if that's what you want to do. Email marketing. Now, B2B email marketing, again, it's probably got a mid barrier to entry, okay? Now, when I mean a mid barrier to entry, anyone can run email marketing B2B. However, you need to learn how to do it properly. And you need to focus a lot on data generation, segmentation, A/B testing your campaigns, getting the results for your ideal customer profile. So it's quite a bit harder than Facebook ads lead generation for local businesses, but you can target the corporate world, which is higher ticket retainers. And B2C, I would say it's also mid because there are a lot of series that come with it. So there's things like abandoned cart series and option to purchase series. This is going to allow you to be able to kind of work with e-commerce businesses and give some significant value there. Okay. So in terms of picking a service, like I said, I'm going to outline it for the beginners and the guys just starting out. You want to go for this one, Facebook ads, lead generation. Okay. Now, for the purpose of this video, because the majority of you guys watching this video basically need the guidance, I'm going to go with this one throughout the rest of this video. Okay, so if you don't want to do Facebook ad lead generation, this video is still going to be applicable to you. However, it's going to be tailored towards this specific service. I'm now going to look at niche domination. Let's see how we can really understand our niche. Now, when it comes to niche domination, guys, we need to understand the difference between low ticket, mid ticket, and high ticket. As I mentioned previously, we're going to go with Facebook ads, lead gen, okay? Now, low ticket niches, you do not want to touch, okay? This is anything from like restaurants, and it could even be, like even personal trainers, etc. Now, the reason why we don't want to touch low ticket, guys, is you are going to struggle to be able to get the working capital from them to invest into your agency. If you're targeting a business that does 10K per month and you're trying to charge 2K per month, that's 20% of their revenue. Which means even if you're the best sales guy in the world, you are going to struggle to close that specific client. We need to realize that actually we're better off targeting a mid-ticket or a high-ticket industry so that they have more working capital and the work that we do is going to pay off so much more for them. We're not aiming to get 15 leads in a high-ticket niche. We only need to get one to pay our retainer times 2. So that's why we're going to focus on mid-ticket or high-ticket. So if we look at mid-ticket, this could be anything from roofing, it could be solar. Some will say solar's like high ticket as well, but it's kind of in between, right? Some solar jobs are about 4K. It could be landscaping. Now these are all local businesses. They're easier for you to target, which is nice. So this is mid-ticket. Now their average kind of revenue is between 10 and 20K per month, which means they are going to have a little bit more money than the low ticket ones. And also each job might net them, between 2 and 5K, which is going to allow you to be able to target these businesses in the right way and generate them revenue per lead. So if one lead is going to get them 2 to 5K per job, then they're actually going to buy into you as a service more when you can actually help them with lead generation and get them as many leads as possible. Then we've got high ticket. Now, high ticket is a really tough one if you don't know what to do, because you've got to remember these businesses are a little bit more switched on. You can take solar as high ticket, for example, and the reason why I say that is you can just target solar companies that are doing over 20K a month. But let's look at some different ones. So first of all, real estate. With real estate, again, it can fall into mid-ticket if we're talking lettings, but we're talking sales here, okay? It's going to be high ticket, which is nice, especially if you work with luxury or commercial properties. Real estate is a very good industry for you to go in. These are going to be over 20K a month revenue, these real estate companies. This could even be, let me just put 20K plus, right? Now, the good thing is with this, every deal, and this is their monthly rev, by the way, so monthly rev. Now, the good thing is every deal that you get them could be 5K plus. So all you need to do is get them one deal to make them get the return on investment if you charge 2K per month. And that's what's so great about high ticket industries, okay? This could even be conservatories / even garden rooms or whatever you want to call them, right? Now again, roofing can fall under this as well, but it really does depend, okay? It's more looking at commercial, not residential, okay? So working business to business, but in local businesses. So, let's say you pick a mid-ticket niche because you're new to the industry. You want to take solar, for example, okay? Now, remember what I told you guys in terms of niche domination. If you follow me and you've been watching my videos, you know exactly what I'm going to tell you right now. It's about becoming a subject matter expert and niching down. So, for example, solar to renewable energy to air source heat pump. Okay? There are legislative changes pushing this industry. Meaning that every single person by 2035 in the UK has to have an air source heat pump system, and not many people do. So the government are incentivizing them with working capital and cash to invest into these businesses to get that in. The reason why I'm talking about dominating a niche is you need to take one of these existing niches and niche down exactly what I've done for you guys here. Okay, so if you are doing solar, look at renewable energy, look at air source heat pump, understand the industry, become a subject matter expert. How can they buy into you as an individual, not necessarily your business? Stop focusing on selling the amount of leads every month and get them to buy into you. How do you do that? You become a subject matter expert. Understand the industry, understand the trends, understand how you can take their business from point A to point B. Cool. So with that, let's say we've picked solar, renewable energy, air source heat pump. We need to understand target avatars. Okay, target avatars are so important for you as an agency owner to really break down, and I'm going to map this out for you guys right now. Now let's look at target avatars. So, what is a target avatar? Now, first of all, your target avatar is your ideal client profile or ideal customer profile within a company that you're going to be targeting, okay? So, it's who we're going to be able to target. Now, what's the benefit of actually understanding that ideal client profile and that target avatar? Well, it means we're going to get more qualified and better sales meetings. And the reason why is because we're targeting the right people for our industry, as well as understanding buyer behavior. We're essentially not going to be wasting time with the wrong ICP, okay? Now, as an agency owner and someone that's been in this industry for years, over 10 years now, I can tell you one thing that is so important. The last thing you want is to jump on a sales call with the wrong ideal customer profile, because you're essentially wasting your time, their time, your solution won't work for them, you're not going to get any money out of them, and you just have to keep doing it. And unfortunately, what happens is this just wastes hours and hours and hours on end. So how do we map out a target avatar? I'll change pen so it doesn't get confusing. Now, your target avatar, we need to understand who is the decision maker in the company. That's number one, okay? We need to understand who's the decision maker. So if you're doing local businesses, it is likely to always be the founder / co-founder. If you're targeting corporate businesses, it's likely to be C-level, okay? So CMOs, CTOs, etc. As well as the founders, obviously. Now, let's take local businesses lead generation like we said. It's going to be founder and co-founder. Then what we want to be able to do is map out company size, revenue. Now, you're never going to get their revenue bang on, by the way, okay? But there are tools online that you can use to identify the revenue and give you a rough indication, okay? We want to be targeting not one man in a van, we want to be targeting 10 employees in an office, okay? Because yes, it might be slightly harder for you to get them over the line, but one client is going to pay you 2K or 5K instead of £500. So company size, revenue. We want to understand their pain points, okay? So what's their pain points in the industry? Why is it they would invest in an agency like you, okay? Don't just put down lead generation. We need to break it down further. Is it nurturing? Is it conversions? Is it their funnel, right? And we need to really do some market research to be able to do that, okay? How do we do market research? We pick up the phone, we get involved, we get stuck in, do 200 dials. This is also going to help you really understand if you've dominated niche selection and picking the right service for your business, okay? So your target avatar, we need to do some additional research to understand who the decision maker is. Is it a founder, co-founder, most likely? What company size do we want to target? What revenue size? What are the pain points? And what would be a viable solution in that industry? Okay? So this falls down to problem identification. If we know what the issue and the problem is within that industry, you are going to become a very rich man, because what we'll do is come in with a great solution to those problems. As we all know, viable solution to a pain point is what makes us money as agency owners. So you need to map this out, okay? But also things like location. Where are you going to be targeted? Don't just download a bunch of data in the UK, US, things like that. What you need to be able to do is understand the location and be specific. What industry, let's say in the UK, are you going to target London to begin with, okay, until you've rinsed through all of those businesses? Are you then going to move to Birmingham, right? Have a look at affluent areas. Remember, we want to look for businesses that are already making money. So target some affluent areas, get that data online. It's all about doing the research. This is so important, and so many agency owners completely forget it when they first start out. What they'll do is create an offer and just start outreaching. Outreach in the right direction, because it's going to get you more qualified and better sales meetings. You're going to understand the buying behavior so much more. You're not going to waste time with the wrong ICP. And then you're also going to really understand the solution that you can provide to them as a business. Cool. Now let's look at lead hunting. Lead hunting is super important when running a business. We need to understand how we're going to get our leads. So for lead hunting, guys, or lead generation, let's say, data generation, this essentially just means getting the prospects, right? We need to be storing this data in a GDPR compliant CRM. GDPR compliant CRM. Otherwise, you're likely to get a fine. Now, if you're doing local businesses, we want to do Google Maps scraping. This is going to allow us to be able to scrape Google Maps for all of the local businesses that we need. However, we need to remember to do this based on our target avatar, which means we need to be able to segment this data effectively. So segment the data based on location, revenue, mobile numbers, etc. Right? Now the reason why we're taking this additional step and segmenting that data is because, again, we don't want to waste time. Stop wasting time. It will burn your revenue and burn you out as an agency owner. So segment that data. Then, if we're talking lead generation for corporate businesses, what we need to be able to do is use sites like Apollo. Now, Apollo.io, I believe it is. That is, it's got a free trial, and I think it's about £60 a month. I can't remember off the top of my head. But it works very well to be able to add these filters that you need. So if you're targeting corporate companies, you might want to look at seed funding. Have they been recently received a Series A? Have they gone through Series A? Have they got funding into their business? How many employees have they got, right? Employee size. This is going to give you an indication so that you can essentially do an effective lead generation strategy. Now, Obviously, because this is a whiteboard, I can't show you how to scrape the leads and I can't show you how to scrape Apollo effectively. But luckily for you guys, inside Client Capital, you have all of this information. So if you are part of the program already, you will have all of this, so make sure that you do it. If you're not, then make sure you check out the links below. Okay, so that's lead generation. I'm keeping it simple. Obviously, you can do a lot more enrichment of data. You can segment data more effectively, and we go into a lot more detail inside Client Capital. However, for now, just to get the basics, guys, follow this and you'll be able to have an effective system in place. And now we're going to look at outreach systems. So your first thing that you need to understand is cold calling is the most important method of outreach for your agency. So if you're not cold calling, then you need to make sure that you are. So this is 100 dials a day as a minimum to your ICP, okay? So that's cold calling is number one. Then LinkedIn outreach. Now, if you have Sales Navigator, you can do in-mails. If you don't, you just need to connect and message. Now, if you want to be slightly different, guys, try voice notes here. This is really cool because most entrepreneurs, you'll find they're really, really nosy. So if someone sends them a voice note, they're going to want to listen to it. So make sure you do voice notes. Now, then we're going to do, sorry, I'm just going to change pen because I think it's running out of gas, all this writing, guys. Then Loom, okay? Now Loom ties in very nicely with LinkedIn outreach. Now this is personalized Loom videos. And we're going to create these based on problem and solution. So problem identification and solution. Okay, so what you want to be aiming is to do a mix between LinkedIn outreach, connect, message, voice notes, and then we want to send maybe 10 to 15 personalized Loom videos every single day. Now, I know some people are doing this whole automated Loom video side of things. When you're first starting out, you need to put in the work. Don't automate too many Loom videos. What you actually want to do is just personalize it. Say the prospect's name, show them their prospect website, show them how you can add significant value based on their problem and provide that solution for them. Then what we want to look at is email marketing. And this is where we're going to personalize and automate 1K plus emails a month. Now, one thing you can see here already, guys, is one of the key things that I keep saying is personalize, okay? We want to be able to personalize as much as possible so that we stand out from the crowd. Then, voicemail drops. Now, voicemail drops are essentially where you can pre-record your voice and it will ring the prospect's phone once and it will leave a voicemail. And you can do this to 500 prospects in about 30 seconds. So voicemail drops are really, really effective when you're doing outreach. So you want to be able to do 200 voicemail drops in the morning as a minimum, okay? This is going to get you calls back. Now the calls back are going to be warmer calls because they've already heard your pitch. So that's quite nice because you're going to be able to have a bit more of a fruitful conversation. And when someone's calling you, they are less likely to hang up on you. It just makes logical sense. Then you've got DM setting on socials. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. This, I would say, is a little bit of a waste of time, but it can still bring in some meetings. So I do this outside, well, I don't anymore, but I used to, outside of core hours, okay? So when you're lying in bed, you can quite easily just copy and paste the DM and send it to 10 people on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, whatever, okay? Now that's a baseline. You could also do sales assets. So this is value props, okay? Now, value propositions are essentially going to map out the key things for your agency that you're going to be able to help them with, and we're going to send that out to them by emailing them personally, okay? Emailing personally. Now, notice how I didn't put SMS drop in here, guys. SMS drop is actually illegal, or it's borderline illegal, so just be careful with that. You don't really want to do that. But if you look at this, this is enough outreach for us to get some clients so that we can make some cash, okay? So what we need to do is focus on putting this in a multi-channel sequence, okay? So what do I mean by a multi-channel sequence? This is targeting different prospects at different times with different channels. So, for example, you're going to start your day with a voicemail drop perhaps. And when you're doing your voicemail drop, you'll start to get some inbound calls. But you'll also be doing outbound calls. And then anyone you couldn't get hold of, you could do some LinkedIn outreach. You could then do some Loom. You've got email marketing running in the background to those exact contacts as well. So you can use that as a hook when you're cold calling. You can DM set in the evening to the companies that you weren't able to get in touch with. You can send them sales assets for anyone that you've had specific conversations with. And this is going to allow you to bring in revenue into your business. So having a very powerful outreach system is going to allow you to be able to connect with more decision makers, get you into the sales process, and get you much, much better at your agency so you can bring in cash. Now, if you're struggling with outreach, obviously we are called Client Capital for a reason, which is my business. It's coaching and consulting program. Be sure to check it out if you do want more knowledge and information in terms of outreach so you can actually bring in some revenue and some clients. But this will give you a great baseline for you guys to get started today. Let's look at the inbound systems. Now, when it comes to inbound systems, guys, first of all, don't run inbound when you are broke. Because inbound systems are great. However, if you don't have the cash, it can fall apart and put you in a net zero very quickly. But let's say you have got a few clients now and you're looking to run an inbound system. The first thing you need to do is be able to create a nice landing page with some compelling copy. And like I say, if you've got the working capital, invest in a copywriter because it will increase your conversions twofold. You also want a VSL, which stands for a video sales letter, with a nice CTA to book a call, okay? Once the call has been booked, we need an appointment setter or yourselves to qualify that lead and confirm the booking. We then send them some sort of asset. This is where we're slightly different in terms of what we teach for an inbound system. We send them an asset, okay? This is going to help warm them before the sales call. And then, obviously, you've got the sales call, okay? Now, the good thing about an inbound system is obviously once you've got a nice creative, and obviously as part of this, you still need to run meta ads with a video creative and copy. And you can send them to the landing page, or you can offer them a lead magnet. Now, if you don't know what a lead magnet is, we will be talking about that a little bit more in the fulfillment stage, but let's just take the most basic one, which is essentially running ads to your landing page. You've got good copy on there. There's a good VSL. The VSL is essentially just explaining what you can do for businesses. Again, mapping out your solution, what makes you different, why is it they should actually even attend the call, as well as a nice CTA so that they book a call. Once they book a call, very quickly, within the first 2 minutes, we need an appointment setter to call and qualify that lead and confirm a booking, answer any questions they may have ahead of the call, send them an asset. This is going to warm them up before the sales call, and then they have the sales call. That means we're going to have a very qualified lead coming into the sales call so that we're not wasting any time. Because if someone does book through your inbound system and they're not your ideal customer profile, the appointment setter should be doing their job properly and qualifying that lead so that you don't have to attend a pointless sales call. Now, obviously, like I said, there are other ways that you can do this, like offering a lead magnet and drawing people in that way and not necessarily even driving them to a landing page and just doing it via an instant form. But I will talk about the fulfillment side of things very shortly, and it does tie in quite nicely when you're running an inbound system. But the last thing I will say, and I'm going to go straight back to the start here, inbound systems are great, but not when you are broke, because you are going to need to spend at least 20 to 30 pounds a day to really see the value of an inbound system, okay? And that there is just the cost of running the ads. You've then got the cost of building this all out properly. You've got the commission or the amount that you're paying your appointment setter. You need to essentially have some working capital to be able to build this in. Now, to have an effective acquisition system as an agency, you actually need an inbound system and an outbound system working in parallel. Both of these need to be working together so that you can effectively have more qualified sales calls for your business. Cool. So now let's get into the sales process. So when it comes to the sales process, guys, a lot of people do this completely wrong because they're trying to do one call close PIFs, right? Which is pay in fulls. Now the problem with this is that we're not going to be able to properly build rapport, understand their vision or their strategy, and most importantly, the pain points, okay? This is why we do something called a discovery call first, okay? So a discovery call is going to allow you to build the rapport, understand their vision, get their strategy so that we know that we're actually offering a solution that is going to be viable to them based on the pain points, okay? This call here gets skipped so much in agency, and I have no idea why. Please, please, please do not just try and jump on a call with your prospect, do a 5-minute discovery, and then present your screen, because this is hindering your sales process. This is not doing you any favors. When you get more advanced, yes, one call closing can be a little bit effective because you're going to get paid on the day, everything's all great. But essentially, you should be using this to begin with, especially when you're first starting out. So discovery call, then a demo call. Now, the demo call is where you present your viable solution. You break down your services. We break down our pricing. And we close with confidence, okay? Now, obviously, there's a few steps to a demo presentation, but let's look at them. So, we've done the discovery. This is a 15-minute call, okay, 15 to 20 minutes. With the discovery, guys, I want you to make this about them. Every business owner loves talking about their business. Do not make this about you, because this call here is about you. So we don't want two calls about you, okay? We want one about them, one about us. Then we're going to be presenting the viable solution. We're going to be breaking down our services. We're going to be breaking down our pricing. We're going to be breaking down our unique selling point. We're going to be able to close with confidence. Now remember, if you do this discovery and you do this demo call correctly, we're essentially matching. We're not closing. We are matching the value based on pain points. We're not here to essentially sell them something they don't want. We want to sell them things that they actually want and what they actually need. So this is going to help you be able to do matching process instead of closing. And we're also going to be able to gain trust, leverage previous work if you've got it, and map out the next steps. So this is really important for you guys to understand. Again, it's a brief description of how you can do an effective discovery call and how you can do an effective demo call. But the main thing that I would say for you guys, right, to frame a discovery call, do a nice introduction. Let's build some rapport. Let's ask them some questions about their vision. Ask them some questions about their strategy. What's working well for them at the moment? What's currently not working well for them? Understanding their pain points, okay? If we understand their pain points, when we get to the demo, we can present a viable solution which creates this matching process. That's going to allow us to be able to close with confidence. So hopefully that just gives you a bit of an insight into the sales process. Please do not do one call closing when you first start out, because you will find it difficult as an agency owner, and the rejections will probably force you out of this industry quicker than you got in it. Cool. So let's look at financials and commercials. This is quite easy, but I'm going to break it down for you guys anyway. So first of all, financials. What do I mean by financials? I mean our invoice. So we need to create an invoice. In an invoice, we need to be able to have two different versions. One version is based on performance-based with setup, and one is retainer, okay? Now, when you're laying out an invoice, guys, there are so many templates on Canva. So all you need to do is use Canva's free version, type in invoice template, and make sure that you put your business details, the PO number, which is the purchase order if you're dealing with bigger companies, okay, so PO number, invoice number, date, amount, your logo, your details to get the invoice paid, now if you're using something like Stripe so that you can have recurring payments, you can put the Stripe link in the invoice. In invoice. Okay? And then we want to brand it to our brand. Nice and easy. So pretty simple stuff when it comes to an invoice. Use a template. Don't just use kind of what I'm saying. But realistically, if it's retained fee, we just do the monthly amount. If it's performance-based, we include the percentage, and then we include the setup fee that comes with it. We use Canva to get a free template. Let me just put template here so that you guys can take a screenshot if needed. Your business details, their business details as well, apologies. So their business details. So their business details. The PO number, which stands for purchase order number. This is kind of 50-50. It depends on the size of company that you're working with. Invoice number, the date, the amount, the logo, the details to get the invoice paid. Okay, so this is your Stripe link, etc. And then brand it. Make it look nice, because no one wants to pay an invoice anyway. So you might as well make it look half decent so that they feel a bit more comfortable paying it. And then we look at commercials. And when it comes to commercials, guys, I can't give you legal advice because I'm not legally allowed to. But what I can tell you is this. You can type in agency, contract, template, online. And what you can do is download that template and make sure you change the details that reflect the agreement that you've agreed. So for example, it might be the agreement of services is definitely going to be your company details, okay? So company details and their company details. The payment terms you might have agreed. Any refund policies. And making sure that the contract template that we use is for the correct country, okay? So don't send a client a US based template if they're based in the UK, because you will look a bit silly, right? Now, obviously, there will be more things that you guys need to change, and it does vary based on the contract template that you're using. Now, here's what I want you guys to do. Once you've got your contract all sorted, right, we need to use something like Panda Docs or DocuSign, because this is going to allow you guys, one, to look more professional, and two, to be able to track where they're at the stages of signing. Now, with Panda Docs, which is pretty cool, you can attach the invoice with it. So Panda Docs allows you to attach the invoice, and they have to pay as they sign, which is really nice. It's an option you can add on. I don't think DocuSign has this addition, but you can use it, okay? Which is good. Now, again, this is just going to give your client a little bit more kind of confidence that you're not just sending them a Word document for them to put, a sign, right? Let's make it easy for our clients. We have to remember the most important thing about this whole process is they're invested in an agency. They want you to make it easy for them in every stage, okay? Every single stage and everything we've covered today, we want to make it easy for our client to be able to use us as an agency service. We don't need to overcomplicate stupid shit, because that is going to allow us to be able to have a much better experience with our clients, and they are going to likely buy into us and our business. So we've got to focus on making it easy for them. So again, just to summarize, agency contract template online, we're going to have to change the details, the agreement of services, the company details, the payment terms, the refund policy, and anything else that is in there. And then we look at using some software like Panda Docs or DocuSign so that we can attach the invoice and get paid when they sign the contract, but also track out where it is so that we can use that as a hook if we need to, okay? Cool, let's move on to the onboarding process. Now, when it comes to onboarding, we need to make sure that the first 24 hours is amazing for our prospect. And the reason why is the first 24 hours of that agency journey is going to allow them to feel confident in your ability to deliver and not regret any purchases that they've made. So, how do we give them the good onboarding, which links in very well with customer success and upselling? But onboarding, what we need to be able to do is have an onboarding call. Now, the onboarding call, what we want to talk about during the onboarding call is everything that we need to be able to do the job properly. So, everything that we need. So let's look at it, right? We might need to know their ICP in more detail. We might need to understand their services, how they price it, the systems they use, the locations they target. We also want to be able to connect their ad account. That is to help us be able to run ads, okay? If you're a Facebook ads agency. If you're not, again, you could be email marketing, you still need to be able to set up the domains. We basically need to use this onboarding call to be able to get everything that we need to be able to have a good relationship with that prospect starting out. The last thing you want to do is an onboarding call and then have to message the prospect or email the prospect 10 minutes after and say, hey, I need this, okay? The whole point of it is to get everything that we need straight away. Then, what we also do is set expectations. False promises will ruin your agency. I see this all the time. People promising results straight away. In the first day, we're going to get you X amount of revenue, or the first 2 days. Don't do it. Just don't do it. Set the expectations based on your ability and able to deliver. If it's your first client, make sure you set expectations. Just explain that it's going to take a good few weeks before you start to see an increase in lead flow, and then we can work on the conversions. Okay? Then we also want to provide some sort of data and analytics moving forward. And the way that we can do that is via connecting them to CRM, okay? And they'll be able to see on the ad account anyway, but the CRM is always good. And then weekly calls. Now, I will talk a little bit more about the weekly calls in the customer success and upselling piece. However, weekly calls are going to allow you to continuously build that rapport and show the client what it is you're doing on a weekly basis to deliver for them as a business. This is so important, guys. You need to make them feel great about using your agency service. So, just to summarize, the first 24 hours, we need to make it amazing for our prospect. So we do an onboarding call. What we need for the agreement, okay? We might need to know more information. We've not found out enough information on just a discovery and a demo. So we need to understand everything about their business, and we need to connect their ad account or set up their emails. We then need to set expectations. Do not false promise. It's going to ruin your agency. We need to then be able to understand how we can connect them to our CRM so that we can give them data and analytics. Give them that dopamine every week. This is increasing. This is working well. This is not what's working well. And then weekly calls to build rapport and increase the communication. What you'll find is that by having weekly calls, even if you're not getting the results that you need, as long as you're communicating it to the client effectively, they will still buy into you as an agency and your retainer will continue, okay? As long as you are actively coming up with a plan to obviously sort the lead flow issues and the conversions. So that is the whole point of having a good, solid onboarding process. If you do want to gain access to the onboarding form that we've designed for members in Client Capital, then click the link below, check out our free school community, and you'll be able to get access to that if you DM me personally. Okay, cool. Now, let's move on to fulfillment. So, when it comes to fulfillment, guys, we need to understand two things. The first thing that we need to understand is communication. And the second thing is CPD, continuous professional development. Now, what do I mean by these two things? First of all, we need to make sure that we are consistently communicating with our client, because when we're doing fulfillment, we are going to need to do things like A/B testing. Now, A/B testing is where you test different variations to get the results for your client. And CPD stands for continuous professional development. And the reason why I've put this under fulfillment is because we need to be consistently working on our skills when it comes to running Facebook ads or doing any email marketing. Now, I can't tell you how to run Facebook ads on a whiteboard, but what I can do is tell you this. You need to be prioritizing client acquisition over fulfillment to begin with. Now, this doesn't mean signing a client and then ghosting them. But what this means is doing enough so that you can get some results, but also focusing on increasing the amount of clients that you get. Because the more clients that you get, the better you're going to be at fulfillment. So what I want you guys to do now, if you are at the fulfillment stage, is make sure that you go and learn how to set up and run Facebook ads. There are a lot of videos on YouTube that you can follow along with. However, I will do a video on how to set up and run ads as well so that you can learn from me. If you're doing email marketing, same thing. You'll see some videos in the future on that as well. So learn how to set up and run the ads. Focus on communication with the client. So everything that you're doing to consistently let them know about your A/B testing, etc. And learn the setup and run the Facebook ads and start to go to market with your process. Now, when it comes to fulfillment with clients, guys, okay, one of the most important things that you guys need to realize is you're not always going to get the best results for your clients. It's just life, right? But as long as you communicate effectively, as long as you're consistently A/B testing, and as long as you're learning consistently as well, so continuous professional development, your client is going to be satisfied. Give them tangible assets, not just results. Okay, so for example, go through their existing funnel and find out what's working and what's not working, and do that as an add-on to your service for free. Okay, we need to be able to give our clients the best kind of service that you can do. So we then move on to customer success and upselling. Now, when it comes to customer success and upselling, guys, it actually falls very closely to fulfillment, okay? So I'm going to use this as well. So fulfillment and customer success and upselling. Now, communication is obviously key when you're doing customer success. So like we did in the onboarding process, we are going to set up weekly times to be able to communicate. Obviously, results is what you're going to want for customer success as well, okay? Because the more results we get, the better our client is going to feel about our ability. So results, communication, as I mentioned, assets. Now, when it comes to customer success, one of the things that you can do is just inform them with data and analytics. This is going to help them really understand what you're doing for them as an agency service. The reason why a lot of agency owners lose clients is because they're not keeping their clients up to date with what they're actually doing. Even though they're doing the work behind the scenes, they might even be getting the results. Give them everything that they need to see, because that is going to help you guys build and establish a long-term relationship. Then when it comes to upselling, this is where we can do something called cross-servicing. So cross-servicing or cross-selling your service, what you can do is, let's say you are running the Facebook ads and you're doing their whole lead generation for their inbound system. What you can do is work with someone else that can build a website, can build the SEO into it, the Google ads, right? And this is where you can work with someone else who's already established in the industry, take a percentage from both client and the agency owner, and sell that service as an additional upsell. It's so much easier to sell to someone already if you've sold to them. If you think about everything you've ever bought, let's talk about, I don't know, for example, a t-shirt, right? This is a Nike t-shirt. Great for the gym, okay? Hence why I'm wearing this Nike t-shirt. If you buy a Nike t-shirt like me and you've gone to the gym, you've enjoyed the way that it fits nice, it breathes, does what it needs to do, it's in the right price bracket, it's like £30 or whatever, you can then feel confident if Nike then say to me, hey Dan, I've got another offer of another one of these t-shirts or a different style of t-shirt, I'm likely to buy it, right? Because they've already sold to me, I'm just buying another one of their products or service. So again, it's the same with agency. How else, once we've got them to buy into us, we've established that trust, what else can we give them so that they feel confident in us as a business? So that is a little bit about fulfillment, customer success, and upselling. Really prioritize it for your agencies because you will see a lot more success. Let's move on to scaling. So now we're on scaling. Let's look at how we can scale effectively. So the things that we need to scale is people, systems, and processes, okay? These are the things that we need to do. Now, every single one of those things here that I've just discussed requires working capital. So this is money, okay? But it also requires looking into our business and understanding the pain points of that specific business. So for example, you're running an agency, you've got 3 clients now, okay? You might understand that your time is now solely on client fulfillment. We then need to invest working capital into either people, so for example, a media buyer, or a system to help us automate things, or our process, okay? How are we going to take that customer journey quicker so that we can utilize our time? So we need to look at working capital as well as time. These are massive factors. Now, when it comes to scaling a business, guys, you do not want to scale too quickly because I'm guilty of this, okay? This means essentially, you've had a great month. Let's just say you've done 20k in a month, okay? Life's good. 20k in a month. You've got some working capital. But then what you decide to do is bring on 3 people. And those 3 people cost you another 6k a month. But that's just in salaries, okay? Then you need to increase the systems to accommodate for those 3 people. That's going to cost you maybe another 1k a month, right? So already we're at 7k. Now for us to be able to see the results, we need to maintain the level of scaling that we're doing. So actually what we need to do is scale slower once we start to see the results, and we use data and analytics to be able to help us, okay? And the way that we do that is we look at what is our profit margin, okay? Is our profit high? Because you can do 20k rev and have a 1k profit margin. You're essentially a shit business because you're spending 19k already. So if you then spend even more on people, systems and process, you're pouring money into a hole that isn't working. So it's very important to identify one of those 3 things that you can double down on, and you can invest your working capital, you can invest your time, and we do this by looking at the data and analytics, and we refrain from scaling too quickly, because otherwise you are going to find yourself pouring money into a hole, like I said, okay? So when it comes to scaling, guys, it is part of the agency model and it is super exciting. Do not get carried away. Trust me when I tell you, I have been carried away before. I've had it where I've done 50, 60k months and all of a sudden done 20k the next month, right? But I've invested a shit ton of people, systems, processes, and I couldn't even afford their salaries on the end of the month. You can't tell them that and you can't let them go quite like that. So it's very, very difficult. You need to be able to manage this properly. Now, luckily for you, there are a lot of resources that you can use to be able to measure this data and analytics properly so that you can scale effectively. But the best thing that I would say is the most important thing is identify any bottlenecks before scaling. Every business has bottlenecks, and it's really difficult for the founder of the business to identify those bottlenecks themselves. So make sure that you get some sort of coaching, some sort of mentoring, whether that be from myself or whether that be from other entrepreneurs in this space that can help you grow so they can look into your business, rip it apart, find out what works, find out what's not working, and double down on the things that are working, and then increase the profit margin so that you guys can scale effectively. So I hope today's video gives you a bit of an insight if you are just starting out and you wanted a bit of a free course in terms of where to start. We looked at everything from the agency model to the outreach systems, to the inbound systems, to the sales process, to the fulfillment and the scaling. I will be breaking down these topics even more throughout this YouTube channel. So make sure that you do subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.